Today I want everybody to take the 5 precepts. Now the precepts are really important when you're doing the retreat. If you break one of the precepts when you're doing a retreat, you will find that you have exceeding amounts of restlessness because you have a guilty feeling for breaking the retreat, breaking the precept. It will interfere with your meditation a lot, not just a little bit. Monks have more precepts than laymen. I have 227 rules, you've got 5. But even though we have so many rules, if we break one of those rules while we're doing any kind of meditation, our meditation is not very good. The precepts, I'll give them to you, but I want you to understand that this is serious stuff. Don't take the precepts lightly. And in your daily life, if you can keep your precepts without breaking them, then your meditation will improve very quickly. If you insist on breaking a precept, you will have consequences from that. Now, this isn't a threat in any way, it's just information so you know that you are responsible for your own practice. If the practice is good, it's because you're keeping the precepts very well. If it's not good, it's because you break precepts. Now, the first precept is not to harm or kill living beings on purpose. And the key here is on purpose. You can be walking down the street and you look down and you've just smashed a bunch of ants. What was your intention when you were walking down the street? Your intention was to go from one place to another. Unfortunately, you didn't look down and see that there were some beings there until it was too late. You don't need to feel guilty about that. Just try not to do that in the future. If you intentionally hit or kill mosquitoes, any kind of bugs, it will affect your meditation very negatively. You will have a lot of fear arising. You'll have anxiety arising while you're doing your meditation. And that's directly because you killed a living being on purpose. The next precept is not to take anything that's not given. This means material things. Don't take something, we can say don't steal. That's a little bit closer to it actually. You know how it feels when somebody takes something of yours? Well, if you do that to someone else, that's how they'll feel. Your prosperity will disappear when you take things that are not given. And the things that you take will not last very long. They'll just disappear. Or if not, they'll break or whatever. So you don't want to break that precept. The next precept is not to have any wrong sexual activity. Wrong sexual activity is sexual activity with someone that's too young, still under the care of their guardians. sexual activity with another person's mate, sexual activity with prostitutes. Outside of these three rules, you want to look at any sexual activity that you have that causes any other being to have distress, to have dislike, then don't do that. That means forceful, harmful things. You don't want to harm anyone. The next precept is probably the most difficult precept to keep. Don't tell any lies. Don't gossip. And what is gossip? It's saying lies and imagining bad things about other people and spreading those kinds of words. Don't slander. Slander means there's two different groups. And in one group I say, you know, this other group, they did such and such. And they start to get angry. And then I go from that group to the other group and I say, they're really angry at you because of such and such. And they're saying this. And slander means splitting apart. So you don't want to do that. And don't use harsh language. That means cursing. Using really rough speech. The speech we want to develop is the kind of speech that is soothing to everyone's ears. Everyone can appreciate it, and they'll listen to what you say. If you start using curse words, people will turn off. They don't like to hear those kind of words. Look at your mind if you use a curse word. What does your mind feel like? It's hard. And that's exactly the opposite of what the Buddha was teaching. Now, the last precept is not to take any drugs or alcohol that dull mind. You have no idea how many people will come to me and say, well, just a glass of wine with a meal, it doesn't really matter. Yes, it does. A little bit of pot now and then is okay. No, it's not. Why? Because it dulls your mind out. And that dullness stays for a long time. And all of these precepts are recommendations that lead to a peaceful, calm mind. You can break any of those precepts you want. It's up to you. Nobody's going to sit and throw down lightning bolts and zap you if you break one of the precepts. But if you break one of the precepts, as soon as you recognize that you've done that, forgive yourself for making a mistake. Take the precepts again with the determination not to break them. Now, the precepts are real interesting because the more you keep your precepts without breaking them, the faster your mind becomes calm.